welcome back to Acre Homestead. We are going to prep dinner here. We are going to make something I have never made before, and that is fried chicken. That might surprise a lot of you, but I grew up in the Pacific Northwest and I grew up in the 90s. And a diet was going around that was really popular in the 90s, the fat-free diet. And so one, regionally, fried chicken is not a super popular or culturally popular item to eat. And two, it was fried, so it wasn't something that we generally ate very much. We never ate fried food growing up in my house. So I have always wanted to try making it, and today is the day because I have some buttermilk in my refrigerator that needs to be used up. We've got a project over here we're gonna get to today, and while the while the chicken is marinating in the buttermilk, we're gonna head outside and just do a quick project outside, then we'll come inside and make dinner. So I was gonna make coleslaw with this fried chicken because I've never made a traditional coleslaw before. I've made coleslaw, but I usually make like a vinaigrette style dressing to go on it, not like a mayonnaise dressing. But I want to be very vigilant about using the garden fresh produce. So I am going to make a salad with some of our vinegar that we've been infusing with the chive blossoms. And we're gonna make a creamy dressing with that vinegar, and we're gonna use our romaine from the garden because that is more important that we use the romaine from the garden. Now, I am butterflying this chicken because these chicken breasts are massive, and the recipe said that if the chicken breasts are really, really big, then to butterfly them. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'm also going to cook up just a couple. I've got 2 chicken breasts that I cut into 4. So that's gonna be 4 pieces of chicken. And then I wanna try just maybe 2 pieces of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs and breast is what I'm using today, so we can kind of see what we like better. So I'm just gonna trim off the fat off 2 of these thighs here. That one is kind of small. These chicken pieces are still a little bit frozen. Okay, maybe I'll do three chicken thighs. I Googled a recipe for boneless, skinless chicken thighs and breast because that's what I have on hand, and I had this buttermilk in my fridge that needed to be used up. So I know that that's probably not traditional, but that's what Josh and I like anyway, so that's what I'm doing. And I just Googled a recipe, so I can link that recipe down below for you if you're interested in making this yourself. So the recipe says to mix together the spices. So in here I have paprika, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. It's homegrown garlic and onion powder. And we have some of our freeze-dried oregano. And I wanted to show you something, how amazing this freeze-dried herbs are compared to the dried. I still use dried, but look at the color difference. This is freeze-dried and it's super bright and green and vibrant, and this is the dehydrated, and it still tastes really good. It just doesn't have the color, and it doesn't taste quite as fresh as the freeze-dried. Same with the basil. Here's our freeze-dried basil, super bright green, and here is our dehydrated basil, kind of more dark brown. So I just wanted to show you the difference on that. And so in here, we still need to add, that's it. I'm gonna mix those together. Now it says to add an egg to a larger bowl with some salt, and then half of the dry spice mix, buttermilk, and I'm gonna add some homemade sriracha sauce because I like a little bit more heat. Now we're supposed to whisk this together. I looked at a lot of different recipes before I decided on this one. There are a million different ways to make fried chicken, and some of them say just to marinate it without the egg in the buttermilk. Some say you're going to dredge it in flour and then egg and then flour and then egg, and they just a ton of different variations. And I thought I would go with this recipe, one, because it had really good reviews, and two, it had the egg in it, so it's going to be one less step when I go to dredge it in the flour, that I'm not going to have to get an egg out too. I'm just going to dredge it in the flour. From what I understand is buttermilk has some acidity to it, and so that helps tenderize and flavor the chicken. So we want this to marinate, it says, for at least a half an hour up to a couple hours. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge. While I'm in the kitchen, I'm gonna prep the salad dressing for dinner so we can have that done and ready to go. But I do wanna clean up any of this chicken mess real quick so that we don't have any cross-contamination. So we are gonna use, to make a creamy Italian style dressing, we're going to use some of our freeze-dried herbs that I pulled out earlier. The reason I have all these out is because I went downstairs and grabbed some more of these wooden lids so that all my jars have the same lids. We're gonna get these on here. You know what? Italian style dressing does not really go with fried chicken, does it? No, does not. But what would go well would be a ranch dressing. So let me see if I can Google a ranch dressing. This is, look how beautiful this is. This is our chive blossom vinegar, and it's so bright pink, and it smells a light onion flavor. And the color on that is just incredible. So I'll compost the flowers. Look at that, so pretty. I've decided I'm gonna kind of make up my own dressing, and I'm basically pulling out every single herb I have. Some of these are duplicates, I guess, here. And we're gonna make it in this bowl. We're gonna make kind of a creamy ranch style dressing. I'm gonna start with some onion flakes, some garlic powder, dill, some freeze-dried oregano, some homegrown freeze-dried basil, so far everything in this bowl is homegrown, along with homegrown chives. I think that's good for the herbs and the spices. Now I'm gonna add some salt, pepper. I think I'm gonna do equal parts mayonnaise to sour cream. Our vinegar. A little bit of sugar. This is basically like a ranch, except I'm not using buttermilk, which I technically could because I have buttermilk, but I don't really want to. I wish you could smell that. That smells incredible. I wanted to make a bigger batch because we'll have this for dinner tonight, but we're gonna be eating a lot of salads here. Oh, wow. That is so good. I'm gonna add just a splash more vinegar, touch more sugar. We're gonna taste this again. So perfect. Now, because I used freeze-dried onion and garlic. It's gonna take a minute for those onion and garlic granules to hydrate. So before I serve this, I am gonna have to taste it one more time just to make sure that the flavors are on point. I made this in my bowl with a lid. I can link these below. I've got 3 sizes of them. They're glass, they're fantastic. And then we are gonna get the lids on these and get these put away. So dinner is now prepped. There's only one more thing I need to do to prep for dinner tonight, and that's to make the flour dredge. That's gonna be really easy because we already made our spice blend. Before we head outside to work on the garden and harvest the rest of dinner, I'm gonna finish dinner prep, which is to make the dry ingredients. So that is just all-purpose flour, some baking powder, and then this is some tapioca starch. The recipe calls for cornstarch, but I don't have that, so I'm just gonna substitute tapioca starch. And then we're supposed to add in the remainder of our dry ingredient, or our dry rub ingredients, and then we need to add some salt because we haven't seasoned this yet. And then we mix that together. I have dinner all prepped and ready to go. Dishwasher's going, kitchen's clean. So now let's head outside and we're gonna finish a project I started this weekend. Now we are out here and this is where we've got the garlic planted. Oh, we've got some garlic scapes. Friend, I didn't even know that these were already growing. So these are garlic scapes. This is the flower head of a garlic plant, and they only produce garlic scapes on hardneck varieties. And elephant garlic is what is in this bed, and elephant garlic is a hardneck variety of garlic. I won't get any scapes from my softneck garlic, but this one at least looks like, usually, well, I was gonna say this one looks like it could harvest. Usually I wait and harvest the scapes once they start to curl a little bit. So I might give them a little bit longer just so that I can get more garlic scape out of them. I left my cup out here, I need to bring it in. But what I started doing this weekend was cleaning these beds up and weeding them. You can see I left piles of weeds that need to be taken care of. So I wanna finish this project. I did not have time to finish this project. This bed was completely covered in weeds. You could barely see the strawberry plants. And I want to take some of these strawberry plants from this bed because this variety of strawberries is producing the best for me. And toward the end of the season, I want to take them from here and I want to transplant in some of these beds that don't have very many strawberry plants in them. You can see I really worked on weeding in here. You couldn't even see the strawberry plants in here because there were so many weeds. All the strawberry beds looked like this bed right here, which was very sad. And I want to take care of these strawberry plants and these strawberry beds. So this was the last one. I wasn't able to finish this one this weekend. I just needed to go inside and call it. So I'm going to finish cleaning up this raised bed to call this project done. And then I am going to get rid of these wooden gates that were around the raised beds. They've kind of been falling apart. You can see all the wooden gates that are kind of around. Those were to keep bunnies out, I believe, and birds out, but I can't get them to stay and they keep falling off, and so birds and bunnies can get into there anyway. So to make this area look more tidy, I think I'm going to go ahead and we are going to get rid of those little gates. It got really windy, so what I thought I would do is show you kind of a shot of before. So these are the wooden side pieces here, and I weeded the beds and I just threw the weeds on top of that because I knew at some point during the week I would come and finish cleaning and doing this project. So this is a really cool weeding tool. I've showed it before. I can link it below. It is got a really pointy end and it works really well on digging into the dirt. These weeds or grass, it's some grass, I don't know if it's the native grass that's around the beds or if it's a weed grass, I don't really know, but the root system on them is pretty intense. And I'm not sure if they're just going to pop right back up after doing this, but I know that I did let this get out of control, so it was quite the effort to get these weeds out. And this right here is the case in point of why I have decided to use the landscape fabric in my main garden, because the weeding I've had to do in the main garden has been so incredibly minimal. It takes just a couple minutes here and there picking weeds, because weeds do come up around the base of the plant where the hole is, and it's just a matter of pulling the weeds. I do have 2 beds in the main garden where the onions are planted that I have had to spend a little bit more time weeding, but overall the landscape fabric has been a blessing in not having to spend quite so much time weeding. Now, I have mentioned I don't exactly know what we're going to do with the space long term, but I am thinking that whatever we do in this space long term is not going to be for a while. So I want to revitalize these beds. I want to transplant some of the strawberry plants into my main garden, because they have a lot more protection from predators in the main garden, because we've got the deer fence, and it's just really protected against deers and bunnies that would want to jump on delicious strawberries. But deers and bunnies don't like to eat garlic, and so I was going to plant this coming fall all my garlic in the main garden, but the garlic has been doing really well in these beds, and these are not irrigated. It's only rained 3 times in the last 2 months, and they still look pretty good. And I want to plant a ton of elephant garlic. I mean, a lot of elephant garlic, because it's so easy to peel. I want to make all of my garlic powder out of elephant garlic, because I don't have to spend as much time peeling little bitty cloves. I said earlier that garlic is a hardneck variety. Elephant garlic is technically not garlic. It's in the leek family, but it tastes just like garlic, and it acts just like garlic in how you plant it and grow it. And so I want to grow a ton of it. So I am thinking that some of these beds that are strawberry beds, I'm eventually going to take these strawberries, plant them in the main garden, and then maybe plant out 2 or 3 of these beds in just elephant garlic. So that means I should probably bring in some fresh compost, amend the beds, and kind of revitalize the soil. Now, you may have noticed that the color just changed there. So behind the scenes, what's been happening these last few weeks is I have been having some serious camera equipment issues. So at this point, I'm working between my phone and this is my camera. And so it's just been a struggle that's been happening behind the scenes. And I just got in a new camera that hopefully is going to have good sound quality with the wind, because this new property is very windy. You can see the plants are blowing in the wind there, and the color hopefully will be really well. And I just want to let you know that the last 2 months, it has been a struggle. And so I'm just really excited to hopefully have something that is going to be reliable and that is not going to be, technical difficulties. So here I am now removing all of this bird netting and these gates. And as I'm sitting here talking with you, I'm thinking that what I'm probably going to do in the next couple weeks, because there's this funny time when it's a big push to get the whole garden planted out. You start all these seeds, you spend a lot of time, growing your seedlings or sourcing your seedlings. You get them out in the garden, and then there's about a month where there's this really lull period where there's not much to do in the garden, and then it gets crazy again when harvest. I am harvesting a ton of lettuce, a ton of kale, some sweet peas, but they're not big harvests. They're just going out there and getting some herbs to cook with dinner and things like that. And so I thought it might be a good time to start amending probably 2 or 3 of these beds to prep them for garlic. If you've never grown garlic before, I would highly encourage you start thinking about your plan for growing garlic now. You really need to, if you're going to order your garlic seed, you need to order it in the summer. I can link at my gardener down below. He sells garlic. You need to put your order in because it sells out very, very quickly. If you wait until October-ish, November-ish, when you are ready to plant it, and you go to look for garlic seed online, you're going to be hard pressed to find it. So get on your favorite growers mailing list, because as soon as they send out the letter saying that, yes, we are ready, garlic sales are on, you want to be first in line to purchase it. Garlic is best planted in the fall because it needs to cold stratify. It needs a certain number of days and cold hours to tell the garlic clove that you planted to split into multiple cloves and grow into a head when it starts to grow in the springtime. So that's why you want to plant it in the fall. Now, there is a trick of, if you do end up buying your garlic in the spring, where you can put it in the refrigerator, but the best practice, if you can, would be to plant it in the fall. So now I'm taking these, fencing, bird protection, bunny protection boards, and I'm putting them in the truck because I'm going to take them to the dump. Not on this day. Our public dump is only open to the public on certain days of the week. And so I'm just going to, I'm going to take them and put them in the truck. And then I'm going to put the ones that don't fit in the truck next to the truck so that when I go to the dump, I can run to the dump, come back, put the rest of them in the truck and go back. Because it's probably going to take me 2 trips in order to get all of this taken care of. I'm really excited about the idea of having that area be a garlic area for next year. I think that's going to work really well. And then I can leave the main garden for strawberries and other veggies. Now that this project is almost done, I'm going to bring you back and show you what I did over the weekend. I planted out the very last raised bed. So now officially all of the 20 raised beds in the main garden are planted. And then I'll bring you back to present day and we will finish this day out in the garden and in the kitchen. This is the last bed that needs to be fully planted out. So I ran to the store and a couple plants were on sale. So I grabbed up a couple peppers that I have not planted yet. I got some giant Marconis. I do have Marconi peppers planted, but I don't know if they're giant ones. So I thought we would try that. That's giant Marconi. I got one other variety if I can find it here. And then I got some Anaheims because these are good for a stuffing pepper. So I thought that would be fun to try that. I picked up some basil because these basil plants were $2 and there's tons of plants in here. So I'm going to separate them. So that was a great price. And then over here, I grabbed some seeds out. I want to do a second succession of Golden Glory zucchini. I don't have any of this striped zucchini planted. This is another zucchini plant and I thought I would get some more cucumbers planted. So we are going to attempt to plant all those seeds in this bed here. I think this is the last bed that Josh needs to put the irrigation in. So I won't mess with his things, but I will get this bed planted. Here's what I've done. I have 3 giant Marconi peppers there. I planted 4 of these straight 8 cucumbers, 2 Golden Glories, 2 of these summer squash. So I'll put a picture up here in the corner so you can see what they look like because I don't even know what they look like. So we're going to try those. 2 of these striped summer zucchini, 2 of the white zucchini, and then we have 4 of these muncher cucumbers and our other peppers, which now I can't even remember what they are, the Anaheims. Oh, and those are hot peppers. I didn't realize that. Are all of these hot peppers? Oh, well, I didn't realize they were hot peppers. So that bed is officially planted out. All right, we got it all done. I did not realize how many of those wooden, I don't even know what you would call them, containers were out here. This bed is looking a whole lot better. I'm worried about all the roots that are still left in this bed that might just come back with grass, because I think that if it starts to rain, all of these roots might start producing grass, but it overall looks a whole lot better. Now, let me show you, I got my cup so I can bring this inside and wash it. What I've got over here that I need to bring to the dump tomorrow. The reason I wanted to get to this today was because the dump is open to the public tomorrow. So this whole pile here did not fit in the truck. So we've got 1 truckload. I'll ask Josh tonight to strap it down for me and then tomorrow we can load this load up and get this loaded. I also did not realize how hot it is out today. It's pretty toasty. I want to make sure I get my tools put away. I love, love, love this weeding tool. I did not realize how warm it is out there. Oh. Let me show you something that I have going on over here that I want to get to. I'm going to get this stuff put away before we go harvest part of dinner tonight, and then I'm going to clean up and then we will make dinner. But first, I need a drink. Cheers. I showed you that these are the seeds that we planted in the garden for the last of the garden things to be planted. Well, on accident got the seed packets a little bit wet. So I came in here and I dumped the seeds out onto this mat so that the seeds weren't wet themselves, but the paper got a little wet. So I didn't want the seeds to sit in the seed packet with the paper. I did not bring them out in their containers, which is what I normally do. So that was too bad, but I think I saved these seeds, hopefully. I think these seeds are okay. I am gonna mark on the seed packet that they possibly could have gotten wet themselves, but I'm pretty sure it was just the packet that got wet. So when I plant these next year, I will plant quite a few more just to guarantee if, you know, some of them aren't viable anymore. So really disappointing, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. I could, you know what I'll do? Probably I'll do a seed test, a germination test sometime this winter on these seeds. That will be a fun experiment. After taking care of those seeds, I ran out to the garden and I harvested quite a bit of lettuce and some basil. This is going to be for dinner tonight, and for maybe the next day or two we can have a side salad. I do have a salad spinner, but I just figured I would just use this colander real quick to get it washed up. This is the last of the first succession of radishes that I have out there. I have planted a few more so we can harvest some more, and if you've never put fresh herbs, this is basil, in your garden salad, I highly recommend it. It's super delicious. So we're gonna get these washed up, dried up, and then I'm gonna go get myself cleaned up and we're gonna make dinner. To start heating up, I'm just gonna use this fry pan, and I'm gonna put maybe I don't know how much oil I'm gonna put in. A lot. I think it says 6 cups. I don't ever see this being something that I'm going to do on a regular basis, more like a special occasion. And I mean, today, what is today? Tuesday? I guess it's just a special occasion Tuesday. So, but maybe it'll be our new favorite thing. I don't know. That's the thing. When you try new things, it's hard to know if you're going to love them or not. And that is a lot of oil though. Okay, let me reread this recipe over a few times just to make sure I do this correctly. It says several inches of oil. That is only probably an inch of oil. I'm gonna put this in the oven. And I'm gonna put the oven on 200 to keep the chicken warm. While the oil is warming up, I'm gonna start dredging this chicken. And I think I'm gonna put a piece of parchment paper on this too, just to make cleanup a little easier. I am all about easy cleanup whenever possible. I just prefer it that way. We have our chicken. I hope I have enough powder mixture. It said to push the flour onto the chicken. Okay, I want to keep the thigh separate from the breast, so this is the chicken thigh. I know you Southerners are probably yelling at me right now, telling me I am doing it wrong. So what I would appreciate is if you could leave your expert advice on how to make fried chicken in the comment section. I would love to read over your tips and tricks, because I know that you all know how to do this a lot better than I do. I have no experience to draw on for this. Smells good though. I'm trying to think if I should double dredge this by putting it in the liquid mixture and then in the flour again. The recipe didn't say to do that, so I'm just gonna put this in here. This is a big piece of chicken.
Friend, spoiler alert, this is so good. I'm really glad I didn't do a double dredge. I think the baking powder in it really puffed up the dredge, and it was so delicious. It's probably not something, like I said, I would do on just any old weekday night, but I could see it being a requested dinner or a birthday dinner or something like that, because it was so good. The seasonings and everything were just perfect.
I did run out of dry mix for this, I think because I didn't have a dry hand and a wet hand, so a lot of the flour mixture got stuck on my hands. So I'm mixing up just a little bit more here so I can get the last chicken breast dredged. It smells so good. And so far this has been pretty easy. So I don't know, maybe it will be something I make on not maybe a regular basis, but maybe if someone requests it for their birthday or something like that. I'm gonna get the last chicken breast dredged. So I know that they make these little pokey things. I've watched how to fry chicken before, and true Southerners have this like hook that you can hook on the fried chicken and it doesn't get the batter off. I don't have that, so we're just gonna use some tongs. We're at 160 here, and it's going to continue to cook in the oven. These first breasts are. So I'm going to get these in the oven. One thing that I did by just happenstance, I didn't even realize I did it, is I started with the two largest pieces, which is great because they're gonna finish cooking in the oven. I could only get them to about 155 and they were getting pretty dark. I didn't want them to brown anymore, so I'm gonna let them finish cooking in the oven. And then I'm gonna cook the second chicken breast, which I think are gonna take a little bit longer than the chicken thighs, just because the chicken breasts are a little bit thicker than the chicken thighs. But it's smelling incredible in here, and I did pull the ranch out of the refrigerator. I gave it another taste test and it's perfect. It doesn't need any more vinegar or spices or seasonings. It definitely does taste different after sitting for a little bit because the freeze-dried ingredients have kind of reconstituted. I had a thought I can use my thermometer as one of those pokey turners, so this is working perfect. So let's check the temperature. Oh, it says that this is already 189, so this is done, but I want the other side to get crispy. This one is not done. The fried chicken is all done. All right, the stove's off. Even though I cut these chicken breasts in half, they're still really big. So Josh and I might share one, but he just got in here and he decided to try fried chicken. So Josh did grow up some in the South, so he knows good fried chicken. I don't know good fried chicken, but I'm hoping this is good, Josh.
It smells good.
I made fried chicken and our lettuce from the garden and homemade ranch.
Looks really crispy.
I think it should be. I'm assuming you want a breast, not thigh?
Yeah.
Or do you care? Okay.
That sounds good.
So let me show you. Okay, so Josh and I are both gonna try it at the same time. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Aha. It's crunchy, I can hear the crunch.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. Very well seasoned.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Crispy, crunchy, juicy, all those things. And you know, my 6 months in the South growing up.
Oh, you only spent 6 months in Georgia?
Maybe 7 or something.
Oh, I thought you spent more time than that. So I just dipped my piece of chicken in the ranch. I'm gonna try it like that. I think that's gonna be really good.
That's a good idea.
That's really good.
Pretty awesome. Nice work, huh?
Well, that was not that hard. I think the key to making it not that difficult was the fact that this chicken doesn't have any skin, and I'm not working with the bone, because from what I read, when you fry chicken that still has the bone in, it takes a lot longer to make sure it's cooked all the way through. And this worked out really well. So we are gonna sit and go enjoy a wonderful dinner. Josh, do you wanna sit outside on the patio?
Sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, friend, for being here and spending time with me in the kitchen and getting the little project done out in the garden. That is great. I will take that stuff to the dump tomorrow. If you're interested in this fried chicken recipe, I can link it down below. I would consider it a winner. And honestly, I would do fried chicken again. It was not that hard. And my stove got a little bit splattery, but not too bad. So that was a great way to spend the afternoon. So thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. I can pop a couple of my other videos here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.